Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus LSU.
Oh yeah, we had a chance to go against, of course, SEC opponent. Everybody. The biggest thing is talking about the stage. I didn't think that bothered our guys. We got off to a rough start. When anytime you have the opening kickoff and you fumble it, it gives those guys a short field to cash it in. And of course, in my opinion, they was looking for some form of confidence because they didn't play their best game the game before. But the guys that they kind of weathered the storm. That the score didn't dictate that, but the one thing I do know about the Jaguars, they will fight for 60 minutes. And we had some encouraging things, when you take a look at it, but we had a lot of turnovers. And, when you have turnovers, I don't care what team you're facing, you can't win that game. But the encouraging part of it, we were able to cut down on our penalties. That's one thing we wanted to make sure we did. But, to establish a running game on a SEC team to rush for over 200 yards, I thought that was a plus. So some encouraging things, some things we can build on. How do you build off a loss? You got to take those things that you got to correct and get better for the next game. You just can't let LSU beat you twice.
Appreciate those comments, Coach Dooley. First question to Jim Klein-Peter.
Hi, Coach.
Good morning.
Yes, you talked about the offensive line. Has this been what you expected from them? It was probably the most experienced position group that you had coming back. Have they exceeded your expectations?
Well, that's always tough right there. I think they can go a little higher, but they're very pleased, not satisfied with them to go against a defensive line of that magnitude right there and to hold up the way that they did, and then to create some running lanes. I mean, you got to be proud of those guys, and they're gonna fight though. The one thing they're not gonna quit. They're gonna fight for 60 minutes.
Well, I know that the line had three starters back, and they went from a run-oriented offense to one that was going to have to protect the passer. Have they adapted in spending more time working on protecting the passer? Have they adapted there?
Absolutely. Well, it wasn't a huge adaptation that they had to do. They didn't have to make a huge adjustment, I should say, because those guys are a great offensive linemen. So it's just a matter of just putting your scheme with those guys and working to get an opportunity to work your craft. And I think those guys done a great job with that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Stephen Gaither.
Coach Dooley, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Just talk about again, there was a lot of anticipation in the city, about this game and for it finally to happen. Just talk about, how you kept your guys grounded with everything, going on around them, all of the atmosphere, how you kept them grounded going into the game. And then I'll have a follow-up after that.
Well, they understand what we're talking about, what we were teaching and preaching. It's not about the opponent, it's not about how big the game is. It's a big game because it's the next game. It's a cliche, but that's something that we go by. And those guys, they understood what we were doing. They were just working to get better each game and knowing that it was going to be a challenge for us, but they accepted the challenge.
All right. And then secondly, at the end of the game, obviously, a long, hard-fought game. Your guys came off the field and there was they were surrounded by supporters as they left the field. Just talk about for the morale of the team. Obviously, you want to win the game, but just having that support there, staying till the end and having someone to cheer them on, how much that meant to the program.
I thought it meant a great deal, for the City Jaguar Nation still there. No, we didn't have our best performance. No, it wasn't a winning performance. But for the Jaguar Nation to be there and stand tall and proud and to cheer those young men on, that just lets you know right there what type of fans that we have, that they're here. They're 100% blue and gold, and you got to love that. That's one thing that I did mention in the locker room, that those guys our fans were still there waiting for us to come on with a cheering voice. So that's very, very pleasing.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Jags Nation are well. When you guys step up and play a SEC opponent, just talk a little bit about how challenging it can be in terms of walking away healthy, the health aspect when you have a FBS and an FCS team play.
Well, you worry about those things, but you can't concentrate on that and focus on that right there, because at the end of the day, we have a strength and conditioning coach just like they do. And I think our strength and conditioning coach does a good job for us, preparing those guys, having those guys better shape in the best bodies in the best possible shape. So as far as what our young men have gone throughout the spring, the summer, and thus right now, we're very, very confident. You know, this is a contact sport. That's not going to change. So we understood that, but to come out unscathed like that, it's a blessing.
Coach, next stop, Houston, Texas. Talk a little bit about going in and again, a great opportunity to play a great game.
Well, to play a great football team. You're talking about a team that played another FBS opponent, but was able to put up 27 points. We do understand what type of offense that they have, but I thought the defense stood tall as well. So we know it's going to be challenging. My message won't ever change. I think we got the best conference in the world, so we know every game is going to be very, very challenging regardless of who we play.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too.
Final question goes to Dr. Bill.
Coach Dooley, you've been in a unique situation where you've taken Prairie View up to Texas A&M, SEC, and now Southern across Baton Rouge, if you would, in terms of LSU. You already talked about the game being physical. So I want to get into you moving to Southern up there in Arlington and playing Texas Southern University, a team that has seemed to be able to put together on the offensive side of the ball. What's the challenge now in a conference matchup?
Well, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that, but you say that we had the opportunity to play Texas A&M. You know, I'm a young man that feel to believe that God prepares me for everything that's going to come in my life. So he prepared me for a time such as I just not went through. So to understand how to have that team ready and to move forward to continue to play within conference play. Because when you talk about a Texas Southern team, we know that they're going to be very, very exciting. I saw some great things of what those guys are doing. So my mindset from the start, it wouldn't matter who we were playing. This conference here is very, very exciting and challenging. So we got our work cut out, but we'll be up for the challenge.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thanks.
Take one more quick question from Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach, Andrew Body, you've seen him up close. You saw him last year. He's a year older. What do you think about him, and what do you expect from him this week?
Well, I expect a great deal. I didn't get a chance to go against Andrew Body last year. At that time, he didn't play, but I did see a lot of tape on the young man. He's a great young man, a great quarterback, very exciting quarterback. He's what you call a guy that can beat you with his legs as well as his arms. So he's a guy that's right now got a lot more experience, surrounded by some great athletes. So we understand the challenge coming into this game right here. We just got to play assignment sound football.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Dooley, as always, we appreciate your time and we look forward to speaking with you next week.
Thanks for having me.